Welcome to The Human Curious. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. This is going to blow your mind. The ocean, a vast unexplored realm. It holds secrets, it holds wonders, and sometimes it holds terrors. For centuries, sailors have whispered tales of a creature, a monster of unimaginable size. They called it the Kraken. Born from the icy waters of the Norse sagas, this legend spread. It traveled across the seas, carried on the salt-laced winds. Fear was its constant companion. The Kraken was not just a story, it was a chilling possibility. A shadow lurking beneath the waves, waiting. These stories painted a fearsome picture, a beast larger than any ship. Its tentacles, thick as ancient trees, could crush hulls. It could drag entire vessels into the abyss. Sailors spoke of its immense eyes that glowed with an eerie light in the dark depths. The Kraken was a symbol of the ocean's untamed power. It represented the unknown dangers that lay hidden, far from the safety of land, far from the light of the sun. A true titan of the deep, the Kraken was more than just a sea monster. It was the embodiment of the ocean's mysteries. In an age of exploration, the sea was a frontier. Why would such a colossal creature choose to sleep, to remain hidden for centuries, perhaps millennia? The answer may lie in its very nature. A being of such immense scale would require vast energy. Its lifespan, too, could be extraordinary, stretching far beyond our human comprehension. Perhaps these long periods of slumber are essential, a way to conserve precious resources, a deep, slow existence in the crushing pressures of the abyss, waiting for a time to stir once more. The deep ocean is a world of scarcity. Food is not always plentiful, especially for a creature of such gargantuan appetite. Hibernation, or a state like it, would be a survival strategy, a way to endure lean times, to slow its metabolism to a crawl, living off stored reserves, drifting in the cold, silent darkness, unseen, unfelt, a mountain of flesh and power, patiently biding its time. Only the deepest currents would know of its presence, a secret kept by the ocean itself. Environmental triggers might also play a crucial role. Subtle shifts in ocean temperature, changes in deep-sea currents, or perhaps even the slow, grinding movements of tectonic plates. The first signs would be subtle, unexplained tremors on the seabed, detected only by sensitive instruments. Scientists might puzzle over them, anomalous readings, strange patterns. Then the stirring becomes more pronounced, a colossal shifting of mass. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, the water itself would begin to move, vast columns displaced. The pressure waves would travel, reaching upwards, toward the unsuspecting world above. The sleeper begins to stretch its ancient limbs. Then the true cataclysms begin. As the Kraken rises, the very crust of the earth might groan. Earthquakes would rip through coastal regions. Not the usual tectonic shifts, but something new, something terrifyingly organic in its origin. Buildings would crumble, landscapes would tear apart, the sea itself would recoil, pulled back from shorelines, only to return with unimaginable fury. The awakening is not a gentle process. It is an act of immense, raw power, a geological event of biological origin. Tsunamis, walls of water hundreds of feet high, would race across oceans, generated by the sheer displacement of the creature's ascent. Islands would vanish beneath the waves. Coastal cities, home to millions, would be inundated, engulfed by the raging power of the sea. The arteries of global trade are the sea lanes. Countless ships traverse these routes daily, carrying goods, fuel, food, the lifeblood of our modern economy. But with the Kraken awake, these vital pathways become death traps. No ship, no matter its size, would be safe. The creature's immense bulk, its powerful tentacles, they could pluck vessels from the surface with ease, or simply its passage could create waves that swamp them. International commerce would grind to a halt. Offshore infrastructure, so crucial for energy, would be obliterated. Oil rigs, symbols of our industrial might, would be twisted metal, torn from their moorings, spilling their black contents into the churning seas. Undersea cables carrying the world's communications would be severed, plunging nations into digital darkness. Wind farms, harnessing the ocean's power, would be swept away. The very structures we built to tame the ocean would become its first victims. Our reliance on the sea, now our greatest vulnerability. The fishing industry, feeding billions, would collapse. Fishing grounds, carefully managed for generations, would become forbidden zones. Fishermen wouldn't dare to venture out, their livelihoods gone. The Gap 2S. Mid-video icebreaker. What do you think about the Kraken? Let us know in the comments. Gap 2S. It's fascinating, isn't it? How a creature from the depths of myth could suddenly become a reality that we must contend with. Imagine the stories you'd tell if you encountered such a beast. What would you do? How would you react? Gap 2S. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Would you be terrified, excited, or perhaps curious? Your opinions matter, and who knows, maybe your comment will be featured in our next video. Gap 2S. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this extraordinary event, exploring its impact and the world's reaction. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing content. Section 5. Echoes of Fear, a world in disbelief. At first, reports would be dismissed, sailors' yarns, sensationalist media. Scientists would demand evidence, concrete proof, but as satellite images emerged, as seismic data painted an undeniable picture, disbelief would turn to shock, then to a chilling realization. The myths were true. The legends walked, or rather, swam among us. This creature from the darkest corners of folklore was real, and it was here. The academic world would be in uproar, theories rewritten overnight, the media would ignite, a firestorm of news. 24 hours a day, images of devastation, eyewitness accounts filled with terror. Speculation would run rampant. Is it intelligent? Is it hostile? What does it want? Experts, real and self-proclaimed, would flood the airwaves, offering explanations, predictions, warnings. Misinformation would spread like wildfire, compounding the fear, making rational thought difficult. The world would be glued to its screens, watching, waiting, dreading. Mass hysteria could grip populations, panic buying, attempts to flee coastal areas. Social order would fray. Governments would struggle to maintain calm, to provide credible information. The sheer psychological weight of the event would be immense. Section 6. The human response, a planet united or divided. Governments around the world would scramble, emergency sessions, high-level meetings. The first instinct for some might be military, to fight, to destroy this threat. Navies would be mobilized, advanced weaponry prepared. But how do you fight a creature the size of an island, a being that can cause earthquakes by merely moving? The ethical questions would be immediate. Is it a monster to be slain, or a part of nature, an ancient life form we have disturbed? The scale of the crisis would demand international cooperation. No single nation could handle this alone. Resources would need to be pooled, scientific knowledge shared, rescue efforts coordinated. But would old rivalries fade in the face of a common enemy, or would fear and nationalism lead to division? Some might see opportunity in the chaos, others would call for unity. A global response for a global threat. Section 7. The Colossus in our minds, culture and psyche. The awakening of the Kraken would send shockwaves through human culture. Myths, once relegated to storybooks, would gain terrifying new relevance. Ancient prophecies, apocalyptic visions would resurface. Some would see it as a divine judgment, others as a natural, if catastrophic, event. Religious leaders would offer interpretations. Cults might emerge, worshipping or fearing the great beast. The rational framework of modern society would be severely tested by this intrusion of the mythic. Artistic expression would explode. Musicians would compose symphonies of terror and awe. Painters would try to capture its impossible scale. Writers and poets would explore the themes of fear, survival, and humanity's insignificance. Films and games would try to process the unimaginable. The Kraken would become the ultimate muse, a symbol of nature's sublime and terrifying power. Art would be a way to cope, to understand, to bear witness to this new, frightening age, a creative outpouring unlike any seen before. Our perception of the natural world would be forever altered. The ocean, once a source of resources and recreation, would become a place of profound dread. A frontier we dared to disturb. Section 8. Indonesia's trial, a nation on the front line. Indonesia, an archipelago of over 17,000 islands. Its people live by the sea, from the sea. Its unique geography places it directly in harm's way. If the Kraken were to awaken in the Pacific or Indian Oceans, Indonesia would be on the front line. Its myriad islands, beautiful and vulnerable, would face the initial onslaught. The tremors from the deep, the first monstrous waves, the very foundations of this island nation would be shaken to their core. The impact of tsunamis would be devastating. Coastal villages, towns, and even cities would be swept away. Mangrove forests, natural barriers could be overwhelmed. The intricate network of islands means waves could be funneled, amplified, reaching far inland. The loss of life could be staggering, the displacement of populations immense. Indonesia has faced the fury of tsunamis before, but this would be on a scale previously unimagined. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment. Section 9, the dawn of a new age, coexistence or conflict. What then of the future? After the initial shock, after the devastation, humanity would face a new reality, a world where the Kraken exists. Do we attempt to live alongside this colossal being? Is coexistence even possible, or is conflict unavoidable? The fear might be too great, the destruction too recent. Humanity might decide that such a creature cannot be allowed to exist.